G'day, guys. It's Jay here from Journey of a Whitefeather. Of course, kangaroos, koalas, and always a frog in my throat. Go on the green. I'm with one of my very close friends we've known for about 3 to 4 years. I'm going to say 4 years because I can. This is Jacinda, and she's got the best laugh ever. Already making her do it. Look, I reckon she should be a laugh therapy practitioner because I reckon she'd bring joy to everyone she's around. There you go. I mean,
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Jay. That's a nice introduction. Thank you.
She hasn't changed. You haven't changed since I met you. So, how you been? It's been like 3 years since we did our interview, and obviously we've kept in contact. Obviously, but I think you've had a few lifestyle changes, and you've had a bit of growth. Obviously, we know we're going through what we're going through universally. And hey, okay, tell us a little bit about what's been happening the last 3 years. Because I mean, yeah, I know now. The viewers have to know.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think where I believe. Well, a lot has happened in those 3 years. I think the last time we had a interview kind of chat. Well, first of all, it's so nice to be here and talking with you. And
of course
thank
it
you
is.
so much for having me be part of your journey and your process here.
We're good friends. So I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah. And it's always, I'm so glad we stayed in touch through all this.
Absolutely.
So I guess going back a little bit, the last time I was talking to you, I think I was just starting off in the van. So I think I or maybe hadn't gone, but so I went on I sold all my things, I got the van and took off. I traveled around mostly in Phoenix, and just looking to for like self-discovery. I had been in relationships for like most of my adult life. Like I had not been single, so I think I just was trying to figure myself out.
How did you find that? How did you find that? Because I just did that. I mean, I just obviously I was on that worldwide tour. How did you find it? Just actually physically stepping away? Because I mean, it's a big step, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a really big step. And I got there from noticing I had this like pain in my chest, honestly.
Okay.
Like I was
heart chakra.
I mean, I had felt like I had gotten to this place. Like in my career, I had a good paying job. I'm in the medical field, so I was doing ultrasound, and I had worked my way up to a nice pay, and it was everything was like comfortable.
But what happened?
But like I just felt like something was missing, and I was noticing like I had this pain in my chest, and I was like kind of like asked the questions of like, what is this about, and why do I have that? I feel like I must be doing something, or like I need to do something differently. Like I just felt like I needed to do something differently. And it felt like when I was starting to meditate more and be like quiet, sit with myself. And
could you look like a natural healer? Like, you're a free spirit. I mean, when I see, I mean, I've known you for quite a while, but for me, and I mean, obviously being an earth being, you see with the trees and all those, like when I went in and saw the bears and stuff, I see you the same thing. I see you sort of dancing in the sun and doing yoga and dance and stuff throughout just out in the plains and stuff. You just have free spirit that you haven't changed at all. I think you just come into yourself more.
So, but at that time, I was actually pretty restricted. I was pretty, I really worked. I worked, and I really worked on my relationships. That was kind of like my life was these two worlds. I feel like I did not do much beyond that. I mean, I was doing yoga, like self-practice and just little bits.
Were you really focusing on you? Were you real? Because I have to say the
like
same
not until like
that's
20,
where I'm going. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going.
Like it was like, okay, like you're not gonna go back to like dating, like I felt like I saw that I was like getting into these not great, like my relationships weren't working out,
Yep.
and that something felt empty. And if I kept going in the same direction, it felt like I was literally going to get
This is
sick.
amazing,
Like it felt
amazing.
like I'm
Self-discovery. It's
like
amazing.
this path is
Yes.
like
I get you. Yeah.
not feeling right. So I
You,
just felt, and then
because you can see
yeah,
yourself. You
uh-huh.
sorry to cut you off. Sorry, just sorry, it's dropping out a little bit.
No, it's okay.
I could
Yeah,
just see,
no, it's
well, I
okay.
could see sort of change. Like I sort of, we got these vibrant energy. Both of us are crazy. I mean, let's be honest, we're both nuts. Right? I mean, look at the laugh. You
A
said I
little
made me
bit.
laugh again. But I mean,
Yeah.
you feel what I'm seeing is a very similar mirror image to what I went through, and twin flames and all that stuff. But we weren't really focusing on us, were we? We weren't really looking at within ourselves. That's where that heart thing might have come in. Well, what do you reckon?
Um, with the twin flame thing.
Oh no, just in general. Sorry, I mean just your
Oh,
journey.
that's okay.
So where your journey was,
Yeah.
came to that heart. You said you had that pain in the heart. Well, you've sort of, for me, the first thing that came to me was you're missing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I really knew myself. Um, or well, it's like, some things, but there was so much I had, um, I think I had a lot of codependency, on the relationships that I was in.
Right?
And so I really leaned on,
Were
or I
you a
just
giver?
let,
Were you a giver? Were you more of a people pleaser?
yeah, like
I can see.
definitely,
I might.
yeah, like
I'm
giving of
just
my,
of yourself and just letting your and
uh-huh.
put. I'll explain it like you've got these two people, like you've got this relationship. Then when you get to the door of the house, they can go in, but yourself has to stay out. But your physical self goes, if you know what I mean. Your shadow self goes, if you know what I mean, and you sort of miss
Yeah.
you lose yourself. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? Yeah.
I think so. I think I just it kind of slipped. Like when I was younger, I would like conform to fit some man's idea of
Wow.
me, you know? And
Yep.
then later I've started choosing, like, because once I had my career going, I noticed that it kind of switched where I was like, okay, like I'm bringing my I'm giving my personality, like all of what I can offer emotionally to this person, but they're not giving much back. So I've gone both ways. I've gone like I'm just attaching and conforming, and then I've, I guess, got into something that was more maybe they were
Does it look like it's been a bit?
the anxious person, and I had
Yeah.
been more, because I was kind of getting more in a stable place. Um,
Do you think they were sucking your energy?
well, it's
Or
kind
you
of
allowed?
weird
Well,
because
because you allowed it. Sorry, should I say you allowed it to? Because I
at
know I did.
yeah, like I mean, it did. It sucked my energy a lot. I didn't notice it. I didn't notice
Mm.
it because everything seemed like, the love bombing and all that stuff. Like I
Yes.
was like, oh, this is so cool. And somebody really like thinks I'm like something to look like. He really gave me a lot of attention. I was really thirsty for that.
Yep.
Um, and it was just, yeah, it just felt so good. But then at some point I just realized like I felt such a lack of energy after we had spent time together. When I felt like when you're close to somebody, you should be giving, And
Be
I
given
and I
receive, give and
and I
receive, like the universal give and receive
yeah,
type. But
yeah.
you
And
shouldn't be submitting yourself to allowing your frequency to drop. Because I mean, you and me, our frequencies like phew, like we're all nutty
yeah.
crazy. You know what I mean? We're up here, and we can get
Yeah.
yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so it's so hard when you have that, because I knew it in that moment. I knew it in that this was probably not gonna work. But like, how you like you don't want to face it sometimes, you know? Like, but I feel like if I list like that, it was like that very
Agree.
intuitive
Yeah.
knowing, like,
Yep.
oh, like, yeah. And so, then it eventually crashed and like,
Yeah.
I mean, it just got really toxic with the way
Do you think
he
universities
was and everything. It
universally?
was just gonna happen, right? It's just not
Yeah. Do you think
gonna work in that
universally
way.
when you had that thought, like, because you're very spiritual, we know that. We've known that for a long time. Do you think spiritually you sort of that wasn't, you could see that was more like a lesson for you if when you stepped back and went on your journey, like there was a lot
Oh
of
man, there's so many lessons. I mean, I feel like I like this last year because I went off and I was like, I'm gonna be single, and that was great. But then when I came back and started having like I don't even want to call it date. I mean, I was kind of dating. I don't know if you'd call it dating, but I was
seeing people.
engaging,
Yeah, engaging.
engaging and seeing people. And I felt like, you know, if I wish I would have, it really, I was really taught that listen to my intuition from the very, very beginning. It's been spot on, but my, my ideas about how I want somebody to be can, I can talk myself into
Do you think it's your
looking
subconscious?
past it, or it's just like I just want people to be better
Do you
or
think it's
like
sub? Do you think it's
treat me
sub?
better, or
Yeah.
something. Like I
What
just
about?
it's just like what you want, but it's like just face it, just face the reality, listen to your intuition that this is not the person for you and move on. And I feel like I got that met like it's okay to accept the reality even though it sucks because I think we just always want things to work.
I think
Or
we're
at least
human.
I
I think
think
we're
I do. Like I think I
yeah. I
like
like
getting
everyone.
along and
Absolutely, absolutely. We
yeah,
do.
I want everybody to be happy. And whether we're like romantic or whatever, it's just like
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
I want us to like click and I want it like that connection, like a deeper connection somehow.
Yep.
So I've learned that about myself that I really have to ground and faith and be willing to see the truth. It's so funny because when I say like, speak your truth and all this stuff, it's for me it was like being willing to see the darker side of people and accepting that. It's like I
Amazing.
didn't want to accept
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And
Yep.
that's really came up a lot. Actually, this summer was just one after another. I'm like, okay,
Wow.
I see it, you know?
Because you're
Yeah.
a because
And
you're a light
so
worker, right? And all that stuff resonates with us. And it's amazing that you're going on the next spiritual level as far as I'm concerned. We've always wanted peace and harmony. We like to give. We're that kind of people, but we've got to learn boundaries, learn about our subconscious and our shadow and all that kind of stuff. The ideal of both of us thinking, I was the same thing, everyone should be the way it is, but they're not. And then we accept that. When you went on your journey,
yeah.
when you went on your journey,
Yeah.
what did you find out about yourself? Like what did when you really looked
Oh,
at
the journey
you?
was just so fun. The journey was like, what it what does Jacinda's heart want to do? So yeah, that's when I went and did the yoga training because I followed my singing. I was like singing.
Yeah, I
So
saw a
I
few
went to
videos. It was good.
Phoenix. Yeah. So it's like, I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna try. And yeah, I kind of suck. I sucked. I suck at singing. I have no, but I'm like, maybe I'll keep working at it. I think there's a lot of like learning about the practice and the putting effort in over and over and not giving up on yourself so quickly
Amazing.
and
It's amazing.
also like being kind to myself about that whole process and knowing that I'm putting myself in these
Were you hard on yourself back in the day? Were you sort of like
oh
I
oh
prefer
totally
I'm saying because I reckon I'm looking at a mirror in a minute. I'm looking a lot of us who are at that level where I'm looking at a mirror. Some of the stuff you're saying, I'm going, okay, we'll go and have dinner and we'll talk about each other in the free and when the mirror's on. It's just like
yeah
when you go on those soul searching journeys, even though mine was just happened, and you really
yeah
wake up, don't you?
yeah it was just beautiful because yes I'm learning because I had like no self-esteem right before like in my younger years so it was like
Yep.
this whole thing of like learning to talk to myself differently to trust, and then to be okay to like embarrass myself, and like get like knowing that didn't kill me, and I can, and it's almost like at least I have a story to tell. Like it just made me feel
Yep.
like more interesting, it filled my cup on the inside, like just like
Was
that
it
I was
filling?
trying,
Was it filling your
huh?
cup for you? Was it filling? Well,
It
did
was-
you fill your cup for you instead of someone else? Now, because I know I've done that.
yeah, like everything I was doing is because I just wanted to do it, and it felt
Awesome.
like something I wanted to try or be better at, or just see how it felt, right?
Yeah.
And then I just was like uh doing a lot of spiritual stuff. So I studied with the four winds, shaman. So I went around the medicine wheel
Tell us about the
while I
four
was
winds.
there
Well,
too.
what did you get out of that?
Yeah.
I've read it. What do you,
Oh,
can we?
yes.
Hang on, I'm going to write
It
down the
was,
four.
it's four winds. So it's
I'm going to, I'm
for
going to get a.
shamanic.
I'm going to get a diagram and put it up while on our final cut. I'll do that for us. So I've written it down. So
Yeah.
yeah. What's the four winds? Tell us all
So
about
yeah, the Four Winds is a school for to learn shamanic energy practices.
it. Yep.
So yeah, so it's from the shamans from the Andes, and so it was an online school. I mean, you could go there, but it was still kind of around COVID, so yeah, they were doing an online thing. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we just started in the South, and you learn different rituals and practices for all the directions, and they all have to do with um different, I guess, uh I want to say energies, or like it's almost like the chakra system, like the
Okay.
lower,
So
more of a heart space, and then like your spirit.
okay, so you got
Yeah,
four winds. So if you explain the four
yeah,
winds to someone, you said there's a directional or to explain your explanation. So you're
yeah,
explaining it to someone.
yeah, yeah.
What's
So
the easiest way? Easiest way, and then whatever you don't give a definition. I want to hear it from your heart.
yeah, yeah. So I feel like it's just calling on the spirits from those directions, and they all have they all bring something meaningful, and they remind me of how I want to be. And so it's kind of like it's like pulling that in and then
Yep.
reminding yourself. And so
Okay.
it's kind of like bringing almost like an archetype, like the serpent, the cobra, like calling that in the morning, talking to that about how you would like their guidance, and how to walk more gently on the earth, um and to think about beauty, and this kind of moving around on the planet. And and then the west is about the jaguar, which is more emotional, and you're asking uh to bring that spirit in, that energy, embody that energy, and have it with you, so
Yep.
protecting you, looking for uh to remind you to be like a peaceful warrior, to let's see, yeah, to be courageous, to kind of like, and see past your fears, move
Yep.
past your fears,
Yep.
basically. Yeah.
Cool.
And then in the north is calling like the hummingbird energy. It's
Is
kind of
that
the
more
joy. It's
vibration? Is
like,
that vibration and frequency more? Is that would that be fair? Because
yeah, I
hummingbirds.
feel like that's more throat area, right?
Yep.
Throat chakra area. But it's also, so it is remembering the sweetness in life, to seek that. But it's also I talk about the connection. So like the people that came before and the people that are coming after. It's like how we're on the lineage, like so we're calling in our ancestors, the ancient ones, to be with us and to learn from their wisdom. And so bringing up that, like, um that energy, right? And then the east is for the eagle. The eagle is, great spirits, kind of like help you see above all the
They watch over in
everything.
American. Yeah, they
Well,
watch.
just maybe rise up above your problems, above like
Yep,
out of
gotcha.
yourself to see the global, the
Say
bigger
the globe, yes.
picture.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's an amazing
Yeah.
thing that we attract when we're asking for help from the universe and spirit and what we're going
Mhm.
through. We've been through pretty much a similar well, we've all been through the similar journey, but we pick up different back belter gifts, different gifts. So you've gone towards the when, whereas I went towards
Mhm.
the shadow and the Native American philosophy. It's interesting. So
Yeah.
from that point there, when you did your self discovery,
Mhm.
because you went from corporate being what you're doing, your ultrasound, and you lived in
Yeah.
3D. Oh, okay, get a car, do that. What where are you? What was happening? When you were going through that? What was going through your head? Because a lot of people, when they have these sort of spiritual awakenings, well, we've been through it. I mean, we've been through it a couple of times, but this one was
Yeah.
sort of under our control in some ways because we actually took the journey.
Yeah.
What when you're going through the journey? What were your thoughts? What was coming up? Was there lessons? What was coming up, and how you were dealing with it? And how are you? Because you've definitely risen frequency wise. Because we've talked, but physically seeing each other, you've definitely
Yeah.
risen. You got a different makeup. How did you
Yeah.
how did you frequency and vibrate? How did you get to that? That's where I go. You definitely you're definitely
Yeah.
got a change in mind. How did that come about?
Yeah. So, I mean, on one end, I felt really good. Like, I mean, I just loved what I was learning. I, I was seeking out just all the cool things, like farmers markets, as far as like what people were growing, what people were doing besides just, I was trying to find like how people could live, um,
Outside the 3D, if I want to put it that way. So we use our
yeah,
but got sort of like
yeah.
I get where you're going. So you're going through
So
that.
I was just kind of out being, and I felt good, except for the fact that I had not figured out how to support myself financially. So there was this on the back of my mind, that stress,
And
because
then,
I
then
was
that's
living
and
in
that's
the
what it
van.
is. Yep.
Yeah, so that stress was kind of starting to chip away at me. And but I was, so that this was my learning, right? So I'm like following myself, but that part of the intuition was there too. Like I I I needed to listen to this part of me that was like, it's time to get something stable. So you feel okay, even if you want to go uh practice a new
New skill
or
or
start
whatever.
this new skill. Yeah. But let's get some stability there. And I really was like wanting to be okay surfing and like living in the van and floating. But that kind of lifestyle was great. And then it just got really tiring, right? Because I was just like juggling,
You need some
meeting
you
my,
wanted the foundation, but you wanted to keep
yeah,
these brand
yeah,
new gifts. You're bringing out yourself and trying. The way I look at it is you're bringing out your true self, your true spirit, but still have to live
uh-huh.
in this
So I
human
still have
form.
this, yes, this
Yeah,
my
and that's what we
reality
all
that I
do. We
have.
all do it. Yeah, we all do it.
Yeah,
We're all doing it. We're all doing it. You know it.
yeah. So
I'm a teacher, and
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
teaching here and there. I'm just coming off holidays and going back to teaching, but I'm not going to go back the way I went. Simple as that. But I will have
yeah,
foundation
yeah.
there. But everything is woken up. Sorry to interrupt. It's great.
No, no, no,
It's
no.
always lovely chatting.
Yeah, I love chatting with you. Yeah, so and the whole plan under it all was to go to my grandmother's home because she had a farm in Missouri but that was vacant because she had passed away. So I I had big dreams for this farm. I was like gonna go there, take it over, have like spiritual healing and maybe art, like um
You can have
I just wanted
like a
to make
retreat,
I just wanted to make it like a dreamland out in the middle of
like
nowhere,
a
right?
retreat,
Like
like a spiritual retreat in some way.
like, yeah, I just was hoping that it would just start to happen. Like people would come and help, and then it would just come, turn into its own little Burning Man type of place in in
Cool.
Urich, Missouri.
Yeah, understand. Gotcha. So what happened? So what
But
happened then?
so yeah, so I drove there, and I was all honestly, like, on the drive, I was heartbroken because I had really gotten attached to Phoenix. I had met people. I was just clicking and everything, like if I had like some stability, it would have been like pretty awesome, right? But I kind of was like, no, this is the plan, so go. So
Yeah.
I was already like hurting on the way there, but like, okay, this is it. And then and then I drive up, and I just was like, oh God, like I knew, like, this is probably a bad idea. Like as soon as I like pulled up, because it was like the house was on, we're just out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I felt like I was driving forever, like with like flat green fields for so long. Um, and then, but the house was right next to the highway. So you kind of got the big semi trucks going. So it didn't have this like peaceful farm vibe, right? Because it's just,
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
and then it was run down. So there was just like spiders, and it was honestly really creepy.
Could have been a horror movie.
Yeah, I feel like if my life was a movie, it was like a musical comedy that was turning into like a horror movie.
Oh God, that's funny. That's funny.
So
You look at you,
yeah, so
you walked in and seen this house, go, oh, okay. Right. All I think is Revenge of the Nerds. When they walked in, their house was all dusty and they go, where did it come? Like a vampire coming in. You could have been anything in there. Imagine if you actually sat
uh,
there and actually,
oh yeah,
meditated
I was trying. I was like, maybe I can do it, like I could video about the
Well, there's
California
spirits.
girl
All the
that
spirits
goes.
in there. What about all the spirits in there?
Oh my God,
We
yeah.
have, on that note, we've got about 3 minutes on this first part, so
Okay.
we're going to talk about the horror movie in part two. I'll let you go. Get see, I'm making a laugh now. So this is what we do. This is just us. So she's gone on the spiritual journey, and she's gone and found, and it's for everyone. It's one of those things where you don't know where it's taken, and the trust that she's put in herself has been fantastic. So we'll be back with part two. Go get yourself a drink. Get ready for the coach of the Laughing Brigade, who's going to bring happiness to the world, Jacinta, and we will speak to you very, very soon.